Hey, it's Chris here today from Huckabones Equipment. Today we're planting, putting some seed in the ground for our food plots. Today I have with me is the L2501 with the oversized turf tires. You've seen it in one of our previous videos. You need more details about it, in particular in these tires, feel free to go check it out. But yeah, that's what we have today is the L2501 with a SBR72 seed bed roller. Coming up also in the video, you'll see us utilizing the PTS500, where we'll go in more in depth into what we're planting as well as how we're planting it today. So we have the L2501 here today with us, which is a 25 horsepower Kubota diesel. It's got the LA525 installed, which means it lifts 525 kilos, which roughly is about 1,200 pounds. So out front you'll see that it has a 66-inch front bucket with a couple of hooks welded onto it. Makes a nice, makes the bucket your own, if you want to wrap some chain around that and pull a few stumps out. Again, so it's just a nice little handy feature to have on it. Again, this tractor is a 3-range hydrostatic transmission. It is in the economy lineup, so you'll see a little bit of hump in the middle, a clutch, not nearly nice to see what it needs, but we've complained about that enough in other videos. Hopefully Kubota Canada watches some of these to adjust. Yeah, and then we'll talk about a couple of the implements that are on the back here. So on the back of today's tractor, you'll see we have the SBR72, which means it's a 72-inch wide seed bed roller. It is attached to a QH05. So the QH05 usually you'll see on a BX or a B01. It does work actually on an L series. Well, on the L01 I guess it does work on. Again, it's for those smaller implements, nice easy hookup. You don't really have to worry too much about bushing it whenever you're using rotary cutters or a smaller tiller, but again, it's always handy to do that. They do come with an extra set. After that, when we're talking about the seed bed roller, not much to know on seed bed rollers. Pretty explanatory, they're rollers. It's nice whenever they're dimpled like this, kind of like a cult packer. It gives you somewhere for the seed to sit down into. Again, it's going to make those lines in the ground, gives that ability for that seed to fall into, and then you roll it again, and then it's got that coverage over top. So again, today we're expecting some rain this afternoon, so it gives it, so it's not just sitting on top so that the rain's going to wash it away. So it's always nice to have that seed right into the ground. So yeah, so that's pretty much all I can talk about on a seed bed roll. They're pretty easy to install. You just want to make sure that you're lifting nice and level on it, otherwise drop it on the ground. In the video you'll see I'm in medium range, around 1500, 1700 RPM. It's very easy for the tractor to pull this. It just drop and go basically, so pretty easy that way. But the other implement, whenever we get talking about it, is the actual seeder itself. It's a broadcast seeder, so that's kind of why you want these dimples in there, because it's just going to be wanting to lay it on top. So whenever you get something for that seed to fall into, it gets better, obviously soil to seed contact, which means you're going to be at a better food plot. So all those things are the reason why you're going to be using a roller. Again, they're not inexpensive by any means, whether it be Land Pride or anybody else. The other options you can do are harrows, very inexpensive, work great, because basically you want to be broadcasting that seed and then covering them up. So again, you'll see lots of people talk about harrows, whether you get a 6 or an 8 foot kind of size-wise. You could easily use them today, is just do the aggressive side first, kind of leave you some paths, and then flip them over, non-aggressive or a passive side after you seed, and then just cover them up again. So all those ways work great. That's the great thing about food plots, whether you have have lots of implements to do the job a little bit easier on yourself, or you only have 1 or 2 implements. They're easy to put in. There is really no wrong way. Basically, you just want to make a little garden out there for the deer to eat at. So again, no right or wrong way, but as you'll see today, we're using a couple of implements, being the seed bed roller and the PTS500. And again, we're going to go into more detail whenever we get it hooked up to how to adjust it and put your seed into the ground. So yeah, so we'll get right back into rolling a little bit here, and then bringing out the seeder for us to enjoy that now. Right now we have attached is the PTS500. It's a broadcast seeder from Lampride. It's a pull type spreader, so it's running on ground drive with a little bit of a gearbox there. To disconnect that, there's a clip underneath that you remove, and that disengages the drive, so whenever you're moving from plot to plot, you're not going to be spreading out seed. Or as we just found out, don't throw your bag of seed in the back there and try and move it. It will tear the bag open. So, but otherwise, very simplistic to use, but there's a lot of pre-settings you want to do before just pulling this out and using it. So there is a seed chart on there. Usually whenever you're doing food plots, it's going to be a mixture of seed. Like in this case, there's some rye, some clover, and some different types of brassica in there. So there's even different seed sizes, whether it's the minis right up to the bigger oat style plants. So basically you want to take it out, and you're going to lose a lot of seed to start with. You're going to do that, that 20-foot run and see, at a low setting to see what's coming out. The one test that was taught to me is to do that 20 feet is to have sheets of printer paper, white printer paper on the ground. And you're only going to be putting 2 or 3 seeds on each paper, potentially even less depending on what seed groups you're using. So be prepared to do that before you're actually just using it. So as stated, the best test to do is get it to your food plot, put some seed in the back, and do a 20-foot pull with it, have on each side of it, because these do spread, depending on what you want to spread, about 10 feet wide. So have these papers kind of on each side of the wheel and pull past it and see what you're putting out. And like I said, you're optimally looking for about 3 to 5 seeds on each paper. So again, if you put down too much seed in one area, what you'll get is a big clump growing up, and it looks beautiful for about the first 6 weeks, and then it chokes itself out and basically doesn't grow any better. So less is more in this case whenever planting food plots. So be mindful of that. Again, you can even pull out with a hand seeder, the push ones. These ones, the pull type ones like this for the back of a tractor, or you can put them on a 4-wheeler, you can even hook them up to the back of your truck. They all work great. A little bit more money, a little bit easier to set up. So a little bit easier on your back as well. So be mindful of that. And again, like I said, there is a few adjustments you pre-made. I already know the settings for this. You're going to be on your lowest setting to keep that gate as small as possible. I'm going to be running the tractor about 2,000 RPMs in medium range again, and be pulling not at full speed, but pretty close to it. So at what I can get out of it. So this isn't my first food plot, so I have a pretty good idea that way. But again, when you're doing this for the first time, take your time. And again, the optimal lesson to know when planting is less is more when dealing with a food plot. So that's your takeaways for today for planting and rolling your food plots. I hope you enjoyed today's video and enjoyed watching us do it. It's been great to bring it to you. So if you liked it, please like and subscribe. If you have any comments or if I was doing anything wrong, let me know down below. Thank you.